Good evening and welcome to your Monday, April 1, 2024 edition of the Evening News. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for joining us. Let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. US $23.27 million India-manufactured military planes arrive in Guyana. Emissions from Guyana 30% lower than rest of upstream operations, says Routledge. EPA and rice farmers have to work together, says Agri Minister, and no water treatment plant for Region 5. Now for the news in detail. Some 2 weeks after Guyana signed the US $23.27 million contract with India to purchase aircraft for its military, the planes have officially touched down in the country. Here are the details.
The Hindustan Aeronautics Limited has delivered two Dornier 228 planes to the Guyana Defense Force. The planes arrived at Chedijagan International Airport on Sunday evening aboard two Boeing C-17 Globemaster military transport planes. This significant acquisition was made possible with a $23.27 million loan from Export-Import Bank of India. An agreement in this regard was signed on March 15 between Guyanese Finance Minister and Deputy GM of Exon Bank, making it the first ever defense line of credit that India has signed with any Caribbean nation. It is reported that the planes are said to be ideal for short takeoff and landing for Guyana's terrain and would be used for maritime patrol as well as resupply of military bases, troop movement to interior locations. This development to procure defense assets from the Asian government comes on the heels of the Irfan Ali-led administration taking significant steps to modernize the GDF with the acquisition of new equipment and supplies as well as capacity building. Meanwhile, international media reports that Guyana also plans to purchase patrol vehicles, radars, and armored vehicles from India. India and Guyana have already established strong defense cooperation with several GDF members undergoing various levels of training within the Indian military. Guyana and India established diplomatic relations on May 26, 1966. Michael Henry, The Evening News.
Exon Exploration and Production Guyana Limited President Alistair Routledge has disclosed that the emissions from oil giant ExxonMobil's local operations are 30% lower than the rest of its upstream operations. Routledge made this disclosure during an appearance on the BBC show Hard Talk when he was interviewed by host Stephen Sakor. Routledge was quizzed about the volume of carbon emissions that was likely to be released throughout oil extraction in Guyana and the concerns of some environmentalists. The oil executive also addressed concerns about the production sharing agreement between the company and Guyana. Here's a look.
I think it's favorable to both parties. It's a balanced agreement. Remember, when we signed the agreements here, there was still a lot of risk very early in the exploration of this basin. And indeed, risks are not just geologic risks when you operate in a new and developing country or in different parts of the world. So all of that needs to be taken into account.
Sure, but you only pay, correct me if I'm wrong, 2% royalties in this country. The norm in many other countries where you exploit fossil fuels is 10%. And the cost-sharing agreement with Guyana means you can claim literally billions and billions of dollars of costs before you even get to the profit sharing. That kind of deal, according to Global Witness, an anti-corruption organization, is robbing Guyana of tens of billions of dollars.
Oh no, it's not robbing the country. What it's doing is delivering the investment that the country is looking for in a frontier development location where there remains high risk. It's competing for capital globally. We take all of the exploration risk up front. We invest all the dollars up front. And then the country benefits not just by the royalty, but also by the profit share. It's a profit sharing agreement.
If one looks at the big picture, Greenpeace and many other environmental activists have made one thing very plain. They say if the world is to have any chance of avoiding the most damaging impacts of global heating, then most of the oil and gas yet to be exploited has to be left in the ground.
What we see is a world that still needs dependable, secure energy supply. And in our mind, this is an and equation. We can't fail in our duty to deliver what modern society needs. We need to deliver that, but we can do it while reducing emissions. The emissions from our operations here will be 30% lower intensity than from the rest of our upstream operation.
But by the time you have finished, if you indeed complete the complete extraction of oil and gas from offshore, that will be at least 2 billion tons of extra carbon emissions that you will have put into the planetary atmosphere.
With the projects and the developments that we're doing here, investing the latest technology, lower emission intensity developments, we're reducing the overall emissions footprint of operations today. And as a corporation, we're committed to the pathway to net zero by 2050. We're on it. It's a pathway. You don't get there overnight, and we can't meet the needs of society today if we just turn the lights off.
Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa says the Environmental Protection Agency and rice farmers will have to find a common ground to deal with the issue of burning rice fields. This is after the EPA had issued an order last week for rice farmers to stop burning straw. Following that order, rice farmers and the Rice Producer Association said the EPA had made the statement without adequate knowledge and had called on the agency to come up with a workable plan. However, as we hear in this Andrew Carmichael report, the Agriculture Minister feels that the two sides must work together.
The order issued by the EPA did not go down well with rice farmers, with many of them disagreeing with the reasons put forward by the agency. According to the EPA's order, which was issued last week, it is imperative that farmers discontinue burning practices since it may cause wildfires. The EPA said farmers should transition to alternative methods of field management, including manual removal or plowing the fields. President of the RPA, Lika Rambridge, said the EPA's order is grounded in ignorance, noting that the agency did not take into consideration the fact that the rice industry has been here for over 120 years and Guyana has been exporting rice for over 105 years. He said the burning of straw in the fields after harvesting is a practice being carried out since the inception of the industry. However, Rambridge did agree that the burning of straw is not good for the environment, but argued that other countries which are larger rice producers have been burning straw in the field. Meanwhile, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa, in an invited comment on Saturday on the issue, said there must be compromise.
Generally, the EPA will, I don't think they will be too concerned because over the centuries that has been the practice in the rice industry. I don't think that those fires can cause any major concern, but that is the traditional way farmers have been doing this, right? I haven't had a chance to talk to the EPA headers yet, but I know for a fact that the RPA and the GRDB and the EPA will have to talk together and ensure that when these activities happen, they happen in a controlled manner.
The Agriculture Minister made mention of the smoky conditions that have been occurring along the east and west coast and in Region 6 during the morning period. This he attributed to wildfires.
From 6 o'clock in the morning, as soon as daybreak, you start to see smoky conditions, right? A lot of bushfire. Not the Sahara dust yet, a lot of bushfire. Because I spoke to the hydromet office this morning and told me because the wind condition is low, it's not picking up the smoky condition out of the air. So when the wind starts to rise and it come up for like about 10, 11 o'clock, then you see the conditions start to come. But I am hoping that with that exercise with the rice farmers and the EPA, the GRDB, the RPA, they could work things together and do it in a controlled manner.
Meanwhile, the EPA had stated that farmers should bale their straw and remove it from the field. Addressing the issue of baling, the Agriculture Minister pointed out that the Guyana Livestock Development Authority, GLDA, has been issuing balers to farmers so that they can bale their straw. These, he said, are spread countrywide. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
Do stay with us. More news ahead.
Transitions Light Intelligent Lenses. Pick your color. Choose your style. Available at Optique Vision Care.
Premier insurance coverage for less. Stay safe. For bid, performance, retention, advanced mobilisation or customs bonds, bond with us. Fuel your success. Call 223-0840 or visit premierinsurance.gy. Premier Insurance. Premier insurance coverage.
There is a reason why TVG Channel 28 is Guyana's #1 television station. We are the home of one of the nation's most watched television newscasts, The Evening News, with an unmatched national reach, the best in children's content, music, movies, and daily soaps. We plan with the viewer at heart. In partnership with cable provider Northwest TV Incorporated, we reach as far as Port Kaituma in Region 1, as well as from Charity to Supanam in Region 2, among other hard-to-reach interior regions. As such, we can guarantee the highest value for advertisers. To advertise with us, contact our marketing department on telephone numbers 231-0544 or 223-7230, or email us at marketing@guyanatimesgy.com for more information on affordable packages.
TVG Channel 28, wholesome family entertainment.
The Ethnic Relations Commission ERC wishes to inform that it continues to monitor the outputs of the Guyanese media and comments posted on social media outlets. The Commission would like to discourage persons and institutions from heightening tensions through incitement and from indulging in, advocating, or promoting discrimination or discriminatory practices on the ground of ethnicity. All are reminded that Section 139D1 of the Representation of the People's Act states that any person who makes or publishes or causes to be made or published any statement or takes any action which results or can result in racial or ethnic violence or hatred among the people shall be liable on conviction on indictment to a fine of $100,000 together with the imprisonment for 2 years. The Commission urges all to be familiarized with this law and to be responsible in their related endeavors.
A message from the ERC, working to build a united Guyana through the promotion of harmony and good relations.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. A new water treatment plant is soon to be built in Region 5. Andrew Carmichael reports that Regional Chairman Vichand Ramphal recently informed the RDC that the plant will service residents on the eastern part of the region.
Councillor Emerson Benjamin recently told the Region 5 Regional Democratic Council that some villages along the east coast of Berbice no longer enjoy 24-hour supply of water, and as such he questioned the reason for the service interruption. In response, Regional Chairman Vichand Ramphal disclosed some plans to improve the water quality in sections of the region.
I know GW pick up a pattern now almost every day that during the maybe hour they see the water with the charity after the like around 2 something the water, but so I don't know the reason for that because we know we used to get 24 hours of water. That brings me to the state of the water. I know, I've heard that there is supposed to be some treatment plan that would benefit, at least they say from bad to, I think, 28 or something. I'm not too sure because, you know, everything must be a secret in this, when it comes to this administration. So the water is terrible. The water is very terrible.
The government of Guyana, as always, is working and improving the livelihood of our people and to better the service that is being offered. And Region 5 will not be no exception.
Ramphal noted that the new treatment plant will be catering for residents of Bath Settlement and some residents of the Seafield Tempe NDC. The project will not be completed this year.
project is being advertised at the moment. We know that this will take some time, and because it's a massive project, of course the construction phase will have maybe 6 or 9 month duration, or I should not put a timeline, but it will take some time.
Meanwhile, the cotton tree treatment plant is expected to be upgraded to cater for a larger catchment area, including Ithaca in the north and also east to include villages like Number 5.
So the quality of water will be improved. The service will be improved because with that there are other improvements that will be done. I don't want to go into the fine details. I know that the Ministry of Housing and Water will engage in that.
Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
The Guyana National Bureau is gearing up to commence its annual surveillance inspections for weights and measures. The exercise is a key aspect of the agency's mandate to ensure consumers get value for money. More in this Trishelle Sobers report.
For the period January to March 2024, the Guyana National Bureau of Standards, GNBS, stamped and verified a total of 14,924 scales and other measurement devices used by suppliers in various industries. Instruments included electricity meters supplied by the Guyana Power and Light, GPL, scales and measurement devices used in markets, shops, retail stores, rice mills, airlines, and manufacturing companies across the country. In an interview with the Evening News, GNBS Head of Corporate Communications Lloyd David disclosed that the agency's surveillance inspections for weights and measures is slated to commence in April. This exercise aims to remove all illegal and faulty instruments being used by suppliers, especially those that were not verified and stamped by the Bureau earlier in the year. According to David, the activity has the support of the Guyana Police Force, and as a result, he is urging suppliers to adhere to the right practice.
This doesn't say that you, as a vendor or shopkeeper, you wait until then to get on the other side of the law. You should take every effort to ensure that if you're using a scale, it must be verified for the period. And that is the law. So stay on the right side of the law. I would encourage any person using a measuring instrument.
David explained that the businesses within the commercial sector usually have the most unverified devices, noting that this is an issue the Bureau is working assiduously to rectify.
When it comes to the number of persons who did not do so well in ensuring that their devices are verified, more of sector. And that sector I would identify as the commercial sector, where we have the markets, shops, and so forth. Most of our manufacturers are finding it's very essential to have their instruments verified, so there's not much of a problem there.
In 2023, the Bureau standards verified over 33,000 instruments. The GNBS, operating under the Ministry of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, is a semi-autonomous governmental agency responsible for standards and quality in Guyana. Trishelle Sobers, Evening News.
A group of students from the Tain Berbice campus of the University of Guyana is advocating for better conditions for senior citizens who oftentimes are victims of neglect and abuse. In this report, Andrew Carmichael takes a look at the living conditions of some elderly folks at a senior citizens' home in Berbice.
The United Nations Charter for Older Persons says they should be able to live in dignity and security and free from exploitation and physical or mental abuse. With this in mind, a third-year degree in social work group of students at the University of Guyana Berbice campus has set out to advocate for better conditions for older adults. The group says they have found that in many instances, older adults are subjected to many types of abuse, from physical to sexual, emotional, or even neglect. Trudy Sinclair, one of the students, is hoping to play a role in changing this culture of abuse and neglect of the elderly in Guyana.
What is important that they need comfort, they need love, they need support, and they're often neglected. They are often left behind. Some of them that are with their families or with relatives usually experience some sort of abuse and no one speaks about it. It's not recognized, it's not talked about. It's a topic that people usually sweep under the rug. So today we want to let you know that our older adult matters, they're important, and we want to ask the general public to pay special attention to our older adults.
Social Services Minister Dr. Vindhya Prasad had previously called on the university to play a more meaningful role in advocating for rights of older adults. St. Clair and her colleagues have taken heed.
Did you know that older adults get financial abuse? Sometimes they have their pensions or they get money from external relatives or organizations, and their relative at the home that they stay would use it for their personal use and neglect them. And those are things that are usually left undetected because there's not a proper sensitization or anyone going to check on these people, right? You would hear these stories when they go to draw their pensions. Some of them don't even get access to their pensions. Some other person does it for them. So those types of abuse usually get swept under the rug.
At the Good Samaritan Home in New Amsterdam, a home for senior women, there are many challenges facing residents there. The age range of residents there is from 60 to 96. Latoya Ramlagan is the youngest.
Enough things want to improve in this home.
Like what? Tell me.
Like forget your meal, or if you want if you need money. Well, I mean, pensioner. When you find anybody give me a little small piece, I got to pinch it. I got to pinch it.
And how do y'all get your meals?
Sometimes people bring, and when you bring, you got to get your meal. When somebody bring, you can't cook. But you got to do everything for yourself.
So when people don't bring meals,
you gotta find them for yourself. You gotta find for yourself.
So how you make out you're not getting a pension? How you make out?
Well, if anybody give me a small piece or something, so I stretch them.
As human beings, as concerned citizens, help our adults. If one is in your home or close by in your vicinity, please pay special attention. And I would like to highlight the Good Samaritan Home. It's a home that has generally women. If we can have at least a few persons in society pay a little bit more attention to this home, I think the adults here, the older women, would be grateful.
In 2019, it was reported that there was a hike in cases of older persons being taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation for medical treatment by family members and being abandoned at that institution. There are no updated statistics on the situation. However, last year, the Human Services and Social Security Ministry, through the Sexual Offense and Domestic Violence Policy Unit, launched an awareness campaign across post offices countrywide to promote elderly care. Through the initiative, senior participants were educated on how to identify and report elder abuse, thereby empowering them to protect themselves and seek help when needed. To further support the seniors and combat elder abuse, the Human Services Ministry continues to direct persons in need to their 24-hour free hotline number 914. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic on Tuesday, April 2, 2024 at 23 hours 30 for 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed at 9 hours 55 on Tuesday, April 2, 2024, also for 1.5 hours.
Crifty Games 4x4 team brings home the gold, and Slingers GDF drop opponents on Elite League return. Details of these stories coming up in the Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.
Stock the finest in the country, both ceramic and porcelain, tiles and chandeliers you'll see while you shop around stress-free. Well, train stop and warming halls make your shopping smooth and calm, providing you with quality to match your style that's so unique. Mima Decor.
Entrepreneurs, coconut byproducts are in high demand. How can you cater to that demand? By investing in a coconut shredder from Sylvie's. Guaranteed to increase your output, this 110-volt stainless steel machine shreds coconut in seconds, allowing you to also save on labor and time. From the shreds, you can create coconut powder, oil, milk, etc. Order yours now at sylviesonline.com or at our 31 High and Hatfield Street store.
Did you know that Gassi's Jet A1 fuel is a type of aviation fuel specially formulated for turbine engines? Jet A1 fuel is safer to handle and transport than any other fuel types due to its high flash point and low volatility. It also boasts a high energy content, enhancing aircraft performance and efficiency. So whether traveling for business or pleasure, choose Guyana's Jet A1 fuel for a safe, reliable, and efficient flight.
Guyana Times. For stories that impact you in print, online,